Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yep.
The Office Blokes that are going live for a Super Bowl watch party.
Yeah.
Sunday the 12th of Feb. Be there or just miss out on the event of the century.
Be a long day.
Long day for you.
Yeah.
What time are you at the football?
11.
11 a.m?
Yep.
In the morning.
What time are you starting drinking?
11 or 1.
And what time's the Super Bowl finish?
About 4 in the morning.
Long day.
Yeah, so tune in. If nothing else, just to see the amount of nonsense being talked.
We're professionals. We'll get through it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good fun. And
I practiced for a weekend on Saturday, and I went out and I started drinking. I was on the bus at 10 drinking, and I got home at just after 1 o'clock in the morning.
How did the practice go? How did the practice go?
I was alright. I was in work the next day, wasn't I?
There you go then.
Yeah,
Professional.
True.
No messing.
Yeah. Right then, what is it like getting drafted into the NFL? I'd imagine it's
Pretty good, eh?
pretty good.
Just a bit. You can imagine it's just made for life, aren't you?
In no other sport I can think of, apart from probably the American sports like basketball and MLB, do you have such a massive event where the draft takes place?
Yeah.
I remember going to a pub in Houston one year, Champs Bar down in main Houston sort of area, and I walked in, I was like, wow, packed. And I'm like, what's going on?
For the draft.
It was the draft. The pub was absolutely leathered.
The people mainly watch it. Is it mainly people from, say, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles? Is it mainly fans of those watching it to see who their clubs get? Or is it a lot of people from like the colleges watching it, seeing where their players are going? So there's probably a bit of pride for them as well.
Probably a bit of both, yeah.
Bit of both, yeah.
You've got some sort of really good college player from your local town who may get drafted into the NFL. I'd imagine all the pubs in that local town are going to be full of people.
It's got to be, yeah. Got to be a source of pride, hasn't it?
But I just remember walking in and thinking, I actually asked someone, I said, what's going on? Is it a game? And they went, no, it's the draft. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, everyone's in here to watch the draft.
Don't feel drafty.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And I was like, wow. But no, I can't think of any other sports really where it's that exciting.
But it's not even a game. It's sort of like pre-season. And
what are the like lower tier NFL wages?
I have no idea.
If you're going to be like a bench warmer, sort of like you may not get much game time, maybe filling the numbers to a degree. You're not a star, but straight out of college, you're still getting paid like proper money.
I imagine so, because it's quite a lucrative industry, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of money in it, isn't there? So I'm assuming it'd still be a fair whack. You guess.
Yeah, imagine like your reserve backup kicker isn't getting the same as the quarterback.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, but still probably earning a decent wage, nice house, nice car, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
So if nothing else, you get drafted into the NFL, and you think, right, if I get my head down now, I'm good.
Well, I think when you get into the NFL, you're signing a contract straight away, aren't you?
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's find out then. What is it like getting drafted into
Might
the
tell
NFL?
you on here.
Well, funnily enough, it is a video. We like to speculate here, though, don't we?
For football players, getting drafted to the NFL is the culmination of years or even a lifetime of hard work. They've sacrificed countless hours striving for this life-changing moment where they officially become something that they've always dreamed about. The draft process is very hectic and can be just as stressful, if not for players, than playing in a massive game. There's way more that goes into it than what fans see on their TVs on draft night. So we're going to take a deeper look into what it's like getting drafted to the NFL. Before the draft. The first part of this process involves declaring for the actual draft. With the NFL, the rule is that you must be at least 3 years out of high school to declare for the draft. So this means that it doesn't actually matter how many years of college football someone has played or what year they are considered. For example, a player who redshirted and then only played 2 seasons of college ball is still eligible to declare for the draft. For this past NFL draft, in addition to the players who used up all of their college eligibility and were forced to declare, 128 underclassmen declared early for the draft. 98 of those players were granted special eligibility, which means they met the league's 3-year eligibility rule and submitted to a written application in which they renounced their remaining college football eligibility. The other 30 had already fulfilled their degree requirements. The deadline for these underclassmen to declare is in the middle of January, right after their college seasons end. After a player has graduated or forfeited the rest of their college eligibility, the next thing they do is sign with an agent. This agent quickly becomes arguably the most important person in the player's life life, so choosing one is not something rushed or overlooked. Players typically meet with multiple agents from various agencies before settling on one. The agent will be in charge of talking to brands and negotiating sponsorship deals, in addition to coordinating interviews and meetings with NFL teams interested in potentially drafting the player. For top prospects, they can and will sign endorsement deals before even being drafted.
I love to know how them conversations go, because you're getting promised the world, and then some.
Absolutely,
aren't you?
Just a bit.
Yeah. Someone who represents.
Someone's rolling out like a portfolio of past customers and present customers they've got, and what they've got. Knowing that you're like I said before, you're the backup kicker.
Yeah,
and saying this is where they've got these.
Doesn't matter what you do, they're probably taking a healthy 20%.
More
than
that, I would guess.
You know what they get over here with the agencies. I don't know how it works over there. Whether it's what's the word?
Was it capped or something? Or
yeah, like caps, but they're regulated.
Right,
it's not really regulated over here. They're just bringing in the regulations now for the agents. But what they do over here is part of the deal. It's like, I think when you sign a player now, I mean, the biggest one's passed away recently. I mean, Iraola. Yeah. He was the biggest one for it. So like he'd do your deal, and he'd get the player massive signing on fee, but he'd also get very similar numbers to what the signing on fee was.
Really?
Massive.
Wow.
In the tens of millions he'd get as a fee. But then his customer, i.e. the player, would also have to pay him a fee.
Yeah.
So out of it, the agent was probably coming out with more than any of the other parties.
Yeah, he got them.
Iraola was known for it, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But I guess he's the guy to get you in the big clubs.
Not anymore.
Or was the guy to get you in the big clubs.
Well, allegedly,
what
he called him as a super agent.
He got the moves done, I think, didn't he, for a lot of players, to be fair. But the way he went about it was maybe a bit...
But he'd move the same players around every couple of years.
Yeah.
He'd have on a rotation. So one year it was this player, next year it'd be him, then he'd be back to him, then he'd be back in the frame again.
Which why clubs didn't like it, because it's like he settled at a club, but then he'd say, right, we've got someone else for
it. Yeah, because he gets paid every time you
get
move.
another sign-on fee, the player gets a sign-on fee, and
but
so
I don't know if
it
they're
goes.
regulated like that in there, but I imagine the conversations is the world.
Yeah. This thing about sacrificing your college eligibility...
And what's
it's
not
like
get that?
so
exactly.
The end of January comes, you've finished the college season, but you've still got a year or two left to study. You're essentially leaving college
to join the NFL,
to join the draft for the NFL. Yeah. So you might not even get drafted.
I don't know the draft.
Well,
I'm not sure if everyone in the draft gets drafted.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure.
So you'll register an interest, and then you could go into a pool where everyone's going to get drafted.
I would have thought that a player that's giving up college to go into the draft is someone who's guaranteed. They've already sort of like...
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Because otherwise...
clubs or agents have been in touch with them with interest from clubs and from teams, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess so,
That's what I'd imagine.
Or maybe it was just your eligibility for college football is what you sacrifice. And no, because I think he said... Some go on to finish their degree and then you don't.
Yeah, because if you join in the NFL, you have time.
You don't have time. Yeah.
Combine. Once an agent is chosen, the next biggest thing for a prospect to focus on is the draft combine. Also referred to as the Underwear Olympics, the combine in Indy is where coaches and execs from around the league watch intensely as prospects participate in a variety of drills and events. Over the years, the combine has risen in popularity and has now become a spectacle aired every year on TV for fans to watch. As a result of the weight teams place on the combine, prospects train very hard with private trainers almost immediately after their college careers end, leading all the way up to the combine. The trainers will put them through workouts and drills that mimic or simulate what they'll eventually go through in Indy. The individual events, such as the 40-yard dash or 3-cone drill, are timed, and these numbers are heavily discussed, not only by teams, but also the media. For skill players especially, performances in these drills can raise or tank their draft stock.
Did we react to a guy that in the combine, he was like a big, chunky, gigantic thighs, but he was running faster than everyone else?
I think we did.
We did something on that, didn't we?
Yeah, I can't remember his name now, but just that talk of the combine really reminded me of it. See some absolute units of guys.
Talking of which, he's a big unit there.
Players especially, performances in these drills can raise or tank their draft stock. An impressive 40 time can lead to someone going from viewed as a day 2 prospect to a first-round pick. It can also just as easily knock a player out of the first round. DK Metcalf is the perfect example of this, as he struggled mightily in the 3-cone drill and recorded a very disappointing time. All of a sudden, teams were questioning his agility because of this, and the freak of nature eventually eventually slid all the way down to the Seahawks at pick number 64. Other individual events at the Combine include bench press, vertical and broad jumps, and 20 and 60-yard shuttles. All of these are meant to give teams a better feel for prospects' athleticism in terms of speed, strength, and agility. The prospects are also put through different kinds of drills that are not stat-driven. These include passing and route running drills, along with other position-specific drills. Not every drill or event is required for players to participate in. Prospects who feel that they have nothing left to prove in an area or don't feel 100% and want to avoid hurting their stock will sit out for particular ones or even the Combine entirely. Joe Burrow didn't throw or participate in drills at the Combine, and this didn't dissuade the Bengals from taking him first overall. Teams also use the Combine to judge prospects on more than just their physical attributes. It's a time for them to test their mental abilities and get to know them on a personal level just as much as anything else. They schedule interviews with a handful of prospects they are interested in. There is no shortage of execs or coaches representing the teams in these interviews, and they have the players go through film or talk through particular plays and scenarios to test their football knowledge. The questions don't end there, though. Personal questions are asked about a player's background or passions outside of the game, and sometimes teams push the boundaries on what is acceptable or normal, with some out-of-pocket questions that seemingly have no relevance. Here are some of the strangest questions that have supposedly been asked over the years. Do you find your mother attractive? What's your murder weapon of choice? How many ways?
Straight into the South, aren't you? Hey. Do you find your mother attractive, and do you like living in Alabama?
What's your murder weapon of choice as well? What a question.
I know, yeah. How bizarre.
I'd look at whatever is on the desk within my reach and just be like, that pen. Yeah. Just to see what they say.
Yeah. You could have proper weird, couldn't you?
Start moving towards it.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you answer them questions?
I'd never kill you, baby.
Wow.
Bare hands.
Could you use a brick in a minute? What kind of fish are you? Pro days. After the Combine comes a 5 to 6 week window of pro days and private workouts. Pro days are hosted by the colleges, and they are pretty similar to the Combine. Coaches, execs, and scouts travel the country heading to as many of these as they can. The bigger the program, the more people and more important people they send. For example, Alabama's pro day attracts every team and even head coaches, while smaller schools may have only a few teams in attendance. At Bama's pro day last year, Bill Belichick showed up. And who did the Pats end up taking with their first-round pick again? These pro days allow prospects the chance to either build off of impressive Combine performances, prove that poor ones were just one-time flukes, or just show what they have if they missed the Combine due to injury.
So being at the right college is so important, isn't it?
It's as well, yeah. Obviously, a bit more focus on some of the colleges than others, isn't there?
Yeah.
So Burrow from Cincinnati Bengals, was he at LSU? Didn't we do a thing on him with was it LSU? When we did behind the scenes thing. Remember when he come out with his name, but his name was in French.
Oh, yeah, that was one of those Royal Key videos, wasn't it?
Was that Burrow? And he put it in spelt it like in a French way.
You might be right.
As in Bureau,
something like that. Bureau,
yeah. Right there. Yeah, I think so.
I'm just wondering if that's him.
It could possibly be.
It was LSU, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Louisiana.
Similar to the Combine, some players will not participate in certain drills if they feel there is nothing left to prove or that they can only hurt their stock. The drills and events are much of the same, but it's left up to each school to determine what they're going to do, so there are some individual spins put on them. Draft Day. After months of breaking down film and talking through it all, teams typically have their boards narrowed down to a select few prospects they'll target with their picks. Especially in the earlier rounds, they either have their guy already or it's down to 2 to 3 prospects. They also have a pretty good feel for what the other teams around them will do with their picks. Each team has a war room with every important exec and coach in it for the draft. This is where they talk through final pick decisions or negotiate potential trades. On the other side,
remember, let's just go back a sec, Dave, a little bit. That last picture, go forward.
Their picks. Each team has a war room with every important exec and coach in it for the draft. This is where they...
I think that's the remember we started talking last week and we said about the owner of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I said he's proper outspoken. That's him there with the blue suit and the grey hair. With his hand on his lips. Okay. I want to say his name's Jerry Jones.
Without you saying who it was, that's who I would have said.
Yeah, it's funny how he's centre, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's very... he's got quite a reputation, let's say. For being pretty
outspoken,
in your face.
In your
face, I would say.
I can see people, like so many of these deals already being done. You know, by the time they actually get to the draft, a lot of people obviously do know where they're going.
So much goes into it, though. I mean, a hell of a lot more than I thought. I thought all the big teams would know all the best players, and then they'd just sort of like pick them, and that's pretty much it. But
the fact that people trade first picks and things like that for other players and all sorts of stuff, there's so many moving parts.
Yeah, of course.
Well, they've just done one now in the basketball. Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets has gone to the Dallas Mavericks, and a part of the deal is the Brooklyn Nets will get a future first-round draft pick.
Is that for a specific year, or is that...
It's gone now.
Right.
It's gone now. Or do you mean the draft?
Yeah.
Just as a future first-round draft pick.
Right.
So I don't know when that would
be. So, for example, they could be eyeballing a college prospect that's absolutely amazing for next year, and they want the first pick, so they'll sacrifice...
You get the first-round pick.
First pick,
yeah.
How do they get that off that particular team now? Because there's other teams involved.
Well, it's their pick. They give their pick away to the other team. So everyone gets a first round pick. Every team gets a first round pick.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Unless you give it away.
Yeah.
Are the teams seeded in some sort of way for picks?
I think it's whoever finishes last gets first pick.
Right.
Right.
One of them type rules.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works in basketball or if that's how it works, but it's along them lines. I think. Yeah. It's to try and keep the ones that are not as successful relevant. To try to bring them more.
Try and make it a bit more even rather than all the best players going to
one team.
The best top two teams. Right. Yeah.
It's probably a good way of having there not just be 2 or 3 teams at the top, isn't it? You know, everyone's got a chance.
If you finish last, then you've got the first pick of the first round. You're going for the best, whatever you need for that position. If you've got a shit quarterback, you're targeting a quarterback, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Super Bowl winners, there's just so many names up there, isn't there? And it's chopping and changing. Yeah.
But it's like our football over here. Normally, you've got like maybe 4, 5, 6 at the very top, haven't you? Which usually tend to get all the best players, don't they? And the rest don't. There's still some good teams. Very competitive. You know, we're lucky, but I can sort of see why they do it. But But
I think they're the most wealthiest franchise or the highest earning franchise in sports in the world.
Dallas
Cowboys. Are they? Wow.
They also
most valuable, I should say. Most valuable.
I want to say that they had Pantera do a song for them to come out to at one point.
Oh yeah.
There was definitely a performance at the beginning of a Cowboys game or something. There was the Pantera were involved.
Yeah. Well, they'd be huge. And I remember in the day when we first started watching NFL over here. When it first over here, you had like people like Dan Marino for Miami.
Yeah, of course.
People like and then you had Troy Aikman, didn't you? Or Troy Aikman was his name. Can't remember now. Something like that.
Yeah.
This is 3D chess on such a grand scale. Big time. It's just big so many moving parts.
But you see, if every exec's sort of like on standby like that, you've got everyone. It's important that you get the right prospect for the future.
Yeah, could dictate your whole season.
Exactly.
Couldn't
the next 5 or 6 seasons.
Those all the players on the wall over there.
Probably. Yeah.
Pick the bones out of that one.
Just see your name right at the bottom in the corner.
Falling on the floor, but no one's noticed.
Imagine they're in order of either round picks or positions.
Yeah, possibly.
Talk through final pick decisions or negotiate potential trades. On the other side of things, around 20 to 25 players are typically invited to the NFL Draft Green Room. This honor is reserved for players expected to go earlier in the draft. They hang out backstage as Roger Goodell announces each pick. Right before they finally hear their name called, either the GM or head coach of the team picking them usually calls them to give them a heads up that they're about to be drafted. The player lets their family know about the exciting news before walking up to the stage where they are given their new team's hat and a jersey to hold. They then embrace Roger Goodell in whatever manner their heart desires. Some players go for the classy handshake or dap up, while others show more emotion, like Danny Shelton, who lifted Goodell off the ground with a bear hug when he was taken in the first round of the 2015 draft. After that exchange, they typically do a quick interview with an ESPN reporter right off the stage as the pundits intensely debate and react to the pick. While the moment is extremely special for most, being in the green room can actually get pretty awkward for others. If a player starts sliding down the first round and even sometimes out of it entirely, cameras will cut to that player sitting with his family looking either sad or despondent. Like when Lamar Jackson fell all the way to the Ravens with a 32nd pick in the 2018 draft. Things obviously ended up working out pretty well for Lamar, but it isn't always the case, and it certainly doesn't feel like that in the moment, as the player knows the world is watching their disappointment unfold on live television. For players who are either not invited to the draft or choose not to attend, they either watch at home with their family or host or attend a party in their honor. Just like the players in the green room, they will receive a call from the GM or head coach right before they are chosen. Being with their families and significant others in the privacy of their own homes can lead to viral moments, as cameras are put there to include in the live draft feed. Like Russell Wilson's then-girlfriend absolutely losing her mind when he got the call during the 2012 draft, or CeeDee Lamb's girlfriend reaching for his phone during the 2019 draft. With the draft unfolding over
we saw that clip, didn't we? I was wondering what the context was.
Yeah, that was it.
It did say it was in the draft.
Right, did it?
And that's why he took the phone off her, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get that when we watched it.
I think Lamar Jackson went to the Masters instead. See that green jacket thing he had on?
I didn't know it. Was that coming up now?
Yeah,
so
no, before.
So the guy was just phoning him on his other phone to say you've been drafted and she's playing Candy Crush or something. That's it. Give me here.
Oh, it's not answering. We're gonna have to move on next.
Can you imagine? You're waiting to get drafted, and you're sort of like waiting for that phone call. And you're like number one and all that, and you're thinking, I'm going to the New York Giants. I'm buzzing like that, and then all of a sudden you get a call from like fucking the Seattle Seahawks. You'd be like, fuck's sake.
My service provider's O2, so I wouldn't get a call off anyone.
Yeah.
I'd be sat there like, no bars.
Lamb's girlfriend reaching for his phone during the 2019 draft. With the draft unfolding over 3 days with 259 picks and 7 rounds, it can be a marathon of a roller coaster of emotions for players and even their families. They are all well aware of how this moment can forever change the course of their lives. As a result, it leads to incredible highs and devastating lows. After the draft. Even before the draft officially comes to a close, teams are on the phone with players who will go undrafted and their agents trying to negotiate deals to immediately sign them. These are where some of the real diamonds in the rough are found, and the teams...
So not everyone's drafted them.
If you go back one picture...
Not
him. Another one forward. Sorry.
Officially comes to a close. Teams are on the phone with players who will go undrafted and their agents trying to negotiate deals to immediately sign them. These are where some of the...
This guy's like, that was when it was the St. Louis Rams, and I think it's Kurt Warner. I think he won a couple of Super Bowls. And,
really?
Yeah.
And wasn't drafted?
No.
Wow.
But that does answer that question of does everyone in the draft get drafted? And
well, that's what he's saying there. They're just hustling to try and find them a club, a team.
But maybe tactically some people don't get drafted.
No.
Because then it's not going to cost you as much in trades with other people to get.
You're running a risk though, because if someone's good and you're thinking I'm going to wait for them to become free, then you negotiate, and then all of a sudden someone else snags them.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the risk to do. I think it's genuinely the ones that ain't that good, but get the chance. If you remember Tom Brady, he only got into the Pats team because the quarterback got injured. If you remember,
right,
and then he kept him. He played well, and then he kept him out, and then he went on to win 7 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls, whatever he's won.
It's like any sport, especially team sports. A lot of players develop at different ages as well, don't they? You get some that 20, 21, they look like running a mill, but by the time 25, 26, they can be absolutely world class. So it's always a bit of a gamble, whoever they pick, I suppose, isn't it?
But this guy was mint as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can do multiple drafts. Like if you're not drafted one year, can you are you eligible for the draft next year?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Or would you just be a free agent and hoping that someone will pick you up at some point?
I guess it'd be a free agent, because especially if you finish your college early, then you finish your college, but then...
Also, you've got to be straight out of college to be in the draft.
I think it's out of college where you go into draft. I think so, that's how I've read it.
Unless you go to the one where they walk on, what's it called?
I read a few comments saying that's nonsense. So.
Really?
Yeah, it's just kind of for the fans.
It's like the combine, but they do the walk on. I think someone's been drafted from a walk on. Is it called a walk on? Something like that, isn't it?
Where like open tryouts essentially. It's an interesting topic though. There's so many moving parts. It's crazy.
Real diamonds in the rough are found, and the teams take this part of the process just as seriously as anything else. For the players drafted, they are in communication with the team who just took them in terms of next steps. They coordinate with team personnel to schedule flights almost immediately to their new cities. Depending on the star level of the player, some may be flown out on private planes with their families, while later round draft picks are subjected to flying commercial. A funny example of this was with Nick Chubb. While standing waiting for his bags, he was subjected to some pretty awkward conversations. Boy, how things change. Once they arrive in their new home, the players are scheduled to go to press conferences, photo shoots, and meetings with the front office and coaching staff. They are given tours around the team's facility and become familiar with where they will be spending the majority of their waking hours moving forward. From there, they must find their new physical homes. For the non-stars, this typically means an apartment, while top picks may look for actual houses. They must quickly settle in and acclimate themselves to their new surroundings as rookie minicamps take place just a couple of weeks following the draft. This is where they will compete for their jobs or prove their worth. As you can see, there really is no off-season for players making the leap from college ranks to the pros, but getting drafted and signing their first contract makes it all worth it in the end.
You wouldn't want an off-season.
No.
If I finished playing college and then being drafted into the NFL, I'd be straight. And next
Straight
day,
into it.
I'd be there next day.
Absolutely.
You want the momentum going, don't you? And also, it is your first legit job offer out of college, isn't it? So you got to be the guy that's there earliest, ready to go.
But you're also playing to be the best.
Yeah, but in a way, things like that, if I was playing football, it wouldn't be a job to me. I'd do it because I just absolutely love the sport. And like I say, you just want to get on there and carry on playing, wouldn't you?
Definitely paying.
No, I didn't say I wouldn't paying it, but it
don't say that when you're signing your contract, mate.
It wouldn't.
I'll do the contract negotiations. You just smile.
Yeah. I end up with less of the started, David.
Pay them to play.
I'll be paying him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's crazy, and we kind of knew that there was a lot going into it, but when you actually get it broken down like that, it's huge, isn't it?
Of course it is, really life-changing as well.
And I suppose find out when the draft is.
Well, I suppose you've got to have... Well, they said January you're eligible to register for the draft.
It's the end of the season and the end of the college season. We reacted to the end of the season game, didn't we?
Yeah. But there must be, like, with those war rooms, and then someone that you don't expect that you wanted gets drafted somewhere else. There's got to be like, right, well, that changes everything. They must have contingency.
Yeah, I think what can happen there as well, though, I don't know if this is something, but someone will let us know in the comments who understands it more than we do. We're making a lot of assumptions here.
Oh, we know it all.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I like the way you said that. But if you, let's say, for instance, I'm number 2 pick and you've got number 1, and we both kind of want the same player. Or if I'm number 8 pick, for example, and you're number 1, you've picked your player, but I want that player. I can probably negotiate with you to get that player off you.
Post-draft.
I think, well, it's on.
Right.
I think you can probably do it while it's on. I don't know if you're allowed to give, like, you can have our next round pick, but we'll take that player.
Yeah. Probably.
That's maybe negotiating amongst them before anything happens.
Yeah.
And also the draft is pre-contract being signed as well with the players, because obviously there's negotiation and things that have to happen. So I wonder how many people get drafted for a team and then someone else goes, here's a sweetener, we'll have him instead. And then you've drafted to a team and then you've just flown out straight somewhere else.
I think there'd have to be some kind of like remuneration to the other team. So
that's
like
yeah. Some sort of like, we'll give you these couple of guys
money or players, player trade, player plus trades. Yeah, I don't know how it works with transfer. I don't think it's transfer fees as such.
Yeah,
I think it's more player contracts, isn't it? And then you get picks and stuff like that. Like we buy players over here, don't we?
Yeah, theirs is more like contracts and swapping and
maybe that's how they get under the financial caps for players and stuff. If there's not the ridiculous fees to buy a player from another team, you just swap in for first picks of drafts and
you're right.
Things
you
like
could do,
you
but
take some of the monetary value out of it.
I know, but someone was saying, I think someone let us know about this, about most teams go over the salary cap and pay the fine, and that's how the NFL make a lot of the money.
Right.
The fines that go in.
Yeah.
So
right.
Interesting though.
Yeah, it's good.
I enjoy all that, knowing all that. Yeah. Let us know in the comments what we missed, and if that player trading thing as it goes on is applicable. I don't know. Right.
Whatever we say is right. We know everything about the NFL.
100%.
Yeah, we never make jokes. Never been more serious about anything. It's true.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.